In the video where I was mowing down poison oak with this new tool to me anyway, I had a few people ask me, how does this work on blackberries? Well, I don't know, I've never tried it on blackberries, but that was a good question. Now I want to know how it works on blackberries. So today, we're going to find out how this works on blackberries. I sometimes get asked if I have any problems with invasive plants here. I'm actually pretty fortunate here. I don't have a lot of invasive plant problems. I do have two of concern, and that is Medusa head grass and Himalayan blackberries. Himalayan blackberries are taking over some parts of the West Coast. They are a huge problem in some areas. In this part of the state, they are not a huge problem. They're a big problem, but not a huge problem. On this property, they are a moderate problem. Mild to moderate. I don't want to get them too well established though. This is a fairly light patch. We'll try it on these first. If it works well on these, we'll go over across the creek where we got a bigger patch, more old growth material. See how it works on those. We also have this evergreen blackberry. You can tell the difference because they have these deeply lobed leaves, whereas the Himalayan or Armenian blackberry doesn't have those lobes. So we're going to try to mow them all down. The answer is, it works quite well on blackberries, maybe even better than poison oak, although it's a little more likely to tangle up. But I found the trick to that is not to go directly at the bottom when you have a thick clump of it. Start on the top, work your way down. I cut down this whole area in maybe 5 to 10 minutes if I was to subtract time moving the camera around. This would be a good time for you to tell us in the comments. They're just going to sprout right back. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. We appreciate that. I think this puts it at a good point where they sprout back. It's going to be easier to apply a spot spray to the sprouts that come back, or however you want to treat the blackberries. For those who did not see the poison oak video, where I sliced through poison oak with ease with this thing, what it is a hedge trimmer attachment. The local Stihl dealer has property not super far from here. He does this kind of work on his own property, and he found that the hedge trimmer works really well on things like poison oak. I don't think he mentioned blackberries, but obviously it works on blackberries. It's a hedge trimmer made by Stihl, attached to my FS 131 trimmer. It's a weed whacker with a hedge trimmer attachment. That worked well. I've got a little more of actually a lot more a serious patch of it over there. Let's go over there, see how it works on more old growth blackberries. Some of us who show these kind of tools on YouTube sometimes get accused of these being paid promotions. They say we're being paid by Stihl, Husky, Wood Miser to show their products. If only. I think it would be silly for those companies to pay us to promote their tools because we're going to do it anyway. Men love showing off their tools. Ever since tools were invented, it's probably been that way. And no, I don't mean it that way. Not to say, never mind. You don't have to pay men to show off their tools because we're going to do it anyway. Yeah, if we have affiliate links up that are going to a place where you can buy the tools and we're going to get a commission, that's another story. But that's not what this is. That's not the way it was with the Husky battery powered saw. No affiliate links, just showing off tools. Maybe showing someone something that can be useful to them, or showing them a way to use that that might be useful to them. I have affiliate links for other things, not these. This is the thickest Blackberry patch I have. Earlier I said the Blackberry problem on this property is low to moderate. I've decided to downgrade that to low because this is the worst of it. In some parts of the region, it is really, really bad. This is nothing compared to the way it is in a lot of places. Still, we want to keep it under control. I think there are a lot of bigger, older canes in here. We'll see how it handles those. Mixed in here are the native Blackberries. They are not a problem, they belong here, which would explain why I called them native. Mr. Obvious strikes again. The green Blackberry, it goes right through it, but it does struggle a little bit on the larger dead material. Anything bigger than about this, and even this slows it down. Took out this little incense cedar tree, no problem. But I don't need an incense cedar here in the road anyway. I knew there'd be some collateral damage. On the poison oak video, which was the first time I used this, somebody said I was trying to use this the way I use a chainsaw. With a chainsaw, I hit the trigger for each branch I'm cutting. And I was doing that with this. Instead of doing that, just hold the trigger on most of the time to keep the RPM up and to keep the thing moving. Well, they were right about that. It works better that way. I didn't even realize I was doing that. Well, I kind of did, but they really brought it to my attention. Even still, I'm so used to a chainsaw, I find myself hitting the trigger instead of holding it open. Let's get back to holding it open. That's it, that takes care of the whole patch. I probably did this in about 15 minutes. It worked well here. If you had the kind of canes that are really big, like the 1-inch canes, the old dried up ones, I think this would be the wrong tool for that. These 1/2-inch ones, we're pushing it, pushing the limits of it, I think. Most of these are a little less than 1/2 inch. But on this patch, it did really well. This patch was years of accumulated growth, a lot of dead canes underneath. If I was to go back in another year or two and hit the fresh canes, it would go right through it very quickly. Is this better than a circular blade for something like this? I don't know. I am not experienced with those kind of attachments. My neighbor really likes the circular blades. Of course, I had to choose the hottest day of the year so far to do this. Forecast today was 100 degrees, but they dropped it to only 98. It's late morning, but I'm getting hot already. I'm sweaty, at least my feet are comfortable. Some of you know why. It's because I have my Camel City Mill merino wool socks on. American made, designed to keep your feet cool and dry. We could prove that because I have my moisture meter. We can test that out. This is terrible video. Someone showing their sweaty socks on video, or are they? What do I set this to? Hardwood, softwood? Let's go softwood. 13, 16, 12. 15. Isn't there any decency left in this world? I don't know how you're able to put up with this channel. My goodness, why would anyone ever choose to show their hot, sweaty socks on camera? But they're really not sweaty. Firewood's considered seasoned if it's 20% moisture or less. These socks they're more dry than seasoned firewood. Okay, Mr. Obvious, let us know that this moisture meter is for wood, it's not for socks. You're not going to get a good measurement on socks with a moisture meter. Thank you, Mr. Obvious, we appreciate that. Back to reality. At the end of the day, I take my boots off. With other socks, I wanted to take my boots off and my socks off. With these, I take my boots off and there's just enough moisture in them that I can just feel this nice cooling effect. Not soggy, not wet, just I want to leave my socks on at the end of the day for a while. See, this is a paid promotion, not the saws and all this. This is what you call a paid promotion, because I'm going to put a link in the description, and if you go buy some of these American-made, really nice socks, I will get a little commission. It helps the channel out. It's going to be a hot summer this year. And I don't say that because I have some kind of insider information from the meteorologists. I say that because it's summer, and that's what summer does. It gets hot. It does it every year. Do your feet a big favor. Get some nice Camel City milk. See, that would be gross touching feet that came out of boots on a hot day, but check the link below. Check them out if you want to. If not, ow, I just kicked my trailer hitch with my bare feet. That's a bad idea. When working in the woods, don't go barefoot. Wear some good boots.